So we got a lot of questions. We got probably more questions today than any
All
other
right.
day because obviously we haven't been on.
There are a lot of issues
Yeah,
currently, given
yeah,
everything on, and Mississauga is also in our budget season, and maybe you or your group, your crew have been monitoring us because we've been heavily in budget discussions. So it's looking good, though. It's looking good.
awesome.
We're trying to
So,
keep it. Mhm.
so I'm going to admit that 90% of our questions are about the vaccinations between 5 to 11. So I'm
Why
going to get.
that was coming, and I have all the information.
Okay, let's start with all the questions. Viewer questions. Okay, first one. When is the first jab going into a 5 to 11-year-old? When can they? Obviously, you can actually book it this morning, but
Yes,
when are they
booking.
going to start in field?
Have to go on to the Ontario portal, right, to book it, like as you
Yep.
would any other booking site. Let me just, okay, when is the first? I think it's happening this week. When is first jab? You know, because
Would it be? Would it be around the same time as Toronto? I believe they're jabbing starting Thursday. So
I would agree. It's the
yeah,
same. We want to talk about where that's going to happen, which I'm sure is a question as well. There
yes,
are 5 public mass clinics. So first of all, you will be prompted based on your postal code to an available open site, right? So
yeah,
whether it's of the mass clinics that are open, 10 Peel Center Drive, which of course is the Peel Region offices, also 7120 Hurontario and Derry, Caledon, there is Caledon East Community Center, the Save Max, Sheridan Center will have one, but there are also 70 plus school based clinics, right? So they'll be in many of the schools, 90 of the primary care providers, 100 community clinics, and 100, almost 200 pharmacies. So you will be prompted when you go online to register your child as to where you live and what their age is, etc. And you will get a choice of what is closest to you and where is the next available appointment. And as when we registered for ours, the question of how far did you want to travel for it if you were on the Ontario site?
okay. Did you say that some of them are going to be at schools? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are
Okay.
pop-up clinics at schools. So I'm looking at 70 plus school-based clinics.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I know with the adult vaccination rollout, there was you could book it on the Ontario portal, but you could also book it on the Peel portal as well.
Okay, so is there a Peel portal right now? There's
For kids?
an Ontario portal.
Sorry, say that again. You're cutting out.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. Right now,
Yep.
and my AirPod broke too. So
Okay.
right now, there is only the Ontario portal to book those.
Okay.
Whether we'll get that granular as to booking an appeal site, I'm not sure, because let's not forget that Trillium Health Partners set up their own, but they're not participating any longer in the vaccine. They're not in the vaccination business anymore, right?
Okay.
And then Peel Public Health, well, we have their vaccine clinics open at Peel Regional Office, which is at 10 Peel Center Drive, and also 7120 Hurontario, just north of Derry, right?
Okay.
So best to go on the Ontario site and it will prompt you. So I don't think it will get that granular this time, but there'll be lots of availability, not when we started out, right? And I understand there are almost 3 million doses arriving.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so there'll be lots of availability, but this is a decision that parents will make as to what is appropriate for their children.
Okay. Will Peel Public Health implementing a proof of vaccination requirement for indoor sports facilities and such for kids 5 to 11, or is that too early to think about?
Right? That, of course, because we had to have that proof of vaccination for sports activities for 12 over, and we didn't do that for children 5 to 11 because, of course, they weren't eligible for vaccines, but now they are. So I think we'll give them a period of time to get vaccinated, and that maybe, don't quote me because it's not anything that's been spoken about, but it's, it could happen down the road. Also, you've seen the social media of Peel Region Public Health. And the Batman campaign, right?
I saw that, yes, yep.
Very cute that they tagged with, they partnered with the Brampton Batman. That's
Yeah.
very cute. via Vax Hero, right? I thought that was they've come up with some really novel campaigns. I'm pretty pleased with Dr. Lowe and his team because, we did the all-night, midnight Vax clinics and the weekend Vax, and we were in competition with Calgary at one point to see who could Vax more over the weekend. And now they've got the Superheroes campaign. They've done a great job.
No, they did. So, and it was well played. That's all I heard about this weekend. They're like, "Did you hear about this?" I saw it maybe 20 times. This came up today. If you have multiple kids, can you book them at the same time, or can you just bring them down?
If you can what? If you have multiple kids, can you bring them down? You have to register for them all, right?
Yeah.
But it allows you to do that because, it always offered me if you want to book a second person to give their information. I'm looking for myself and my mother, right?
Yeah. Okay. And it allows you to do that then. So like 2 or 3 kids at a time could kind of book at the same time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then a second shot for kids. I'm sorry, this is like all questions from viewers. It's all about the platform.
It's all very new. It's all very new, but right now they're finding that the greater amount of time between vaccines was most effective, and I think it was 8 weeks. So 8 weeks. 8 weeks. I mean, it was 8 weeks for me. I think it was 8 weeks for everyone. Was most effective, and then booster after 6 months, which I'm looking forward to once they call my age cohort, which they haven't yet. But
you're rock climbing.
Well, they're only on 70 plus, please.
Okay. And then you did say that it's not as chaotic now, obviously, with the bookings.
There's so much more availability now than there was in the beginning when we were all scrambling to get vaccinated, right? Because you're at primary care, you're at pharmacies, there are pop-up clinics, there are mass clinics, and what else? There will be school sites as well.
Okay. And do you know how long the wait time would be for a kid and a parent that's going into a vaccination center?
Oh, I just got a message because my staff are really good. They're online with me. And apparently, no, you can only book one at a time, which was annoying. One of my staff has 3 children. She had to go back and hope that the time, that was available is still available. But you know what? That happened to Mom and I, as a matter of fact, as well. And we just went together, and they took us together. They'll, try and get something close enough so that I'm sure they'll take you together.
Bonnie, you're the mayor. Okay. I don't think they're going to say no to you.
I never look for advantage that way. Whatever rules apply to everybody apply to me too. So you don't even have to ask. So, I'm assuming that let's just say if you have a vaccination appointment 10 minutes apart and you have 3 kids, they're going to let you all in. Of course.
Yeah.
I bet even it's within the same hour.
Okay.
And I'm sure there will be people that will say, "Oh, please, go together as a family. Go ahead of me." Of course they will. We're Canadian.
Yeah. Okay. So just go together. You'll get the shot. What about the current supply right now in Peel for kids? Are we good?
We are good. We're good. I'm looking for the number that tells me how many. Peel Public Health has 62,000 appointments available in the next 6 weeks, is what I'm being told.
Okay. And sorry, I know this might be a difficult question. Do you know how many kids there are between 5 and 11 in Mississauga or Peel? Okay.
Oh, wow, this is so granular. I've got such high-level remarks. No, I don't know that yet. Oh, wait a minute. At one point, there were 300,000 people who hadn't gotten a vaccine, but a lot of them were ineligible because they were under 11. So there are a couple 100,000.
A couple 100,000. Okay. So we need 40,000 more. Okay. All right. And once all the kids 5 to 11 get vaccinated, first shot and second shot, how much of an impact will this make for Peel and the economy opening up and just things getting back to normal?
So the biggest statistic I can quote you is that 1/3 of all COVID cases are in school-aged children.
Yeah.
Right. So we will help limit that. But I'll tell you, we've asked, and there's not a correlation with hospitalizations, which is really good news.
True.
Hospitals would flag that for us, so that hasn't been the case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we just right now have to just continue to be careful. I mean, there was a reason why restrictions weren't lifted, right? Because there were further restrictions that were to be lifted with respect to dancing and the number of people in venues and etc. And they were not, because we were, you know, we were experiencing 200 and 300, 400 cases, and all of a sudden we're 600 and 700 cases. So we just need to slow things down a little. And the concern is, you know, there was Halloween parties. We know that contributed. Diwali contributed. But now with the weather getting cooler, people are moving indoors. People were still outdoors and meeting outdoors, but now as we move indoors, we're concerned.
True.
Transmission rate, risk of transmission is much higher indoors.
True. Okay, I think those are all the 5 to 11 questions. So you got through.
That information will become apparent in, you know, in the coming days and weeks, right? And so, you know, this is what we know right now, that it will, you are able to register. I'm pretty sure we're in sync with Toronto, meaning that we can get the jab as early as later this week. And there's lots of availability right now. So please go on the Ontario website and register your children. And, you know, this is a personal decision parents will make, right?
Yeah. What would you say to a parent that is on the fence of getting their kid vaccinated?
Well, that your children already received the measles, mumps, rubella, and smallpox vaccine.
Good point.
And this is the next one that they'll have to have eventually. And, you know, we all get our boosters. We're getting our boosters. Well, I'm going to get our flu shots and our boosters. And so parents should have a degree of confidence. Millions and millions of these vaccines have been distributed. Have there been some incidents of side effects? Yes, there has, but very minute. Very, very minute. I think originally we were told 1%, and it has clearly been less than 1%. Now, these are their children, so this is why I'm saying this is a decision parents will make, right? But your children, and most of you, I think 99% of you, your children are going to public schools, had to be vaccinated to go to school. And this is one that will be added to that list. Okay.
Let's talk about the Game of Thrones speech, or the throne speech today. Were you?
So I haven't looked at it extremely closely yet, I'll be honest with you. We're in budget meetings at the same time, and then we, of course, went into other meetings.
Well, let me ask you, what were you hoping from an affordable housing kind of perspective?
From my understanding is they're making it a lot more affordable for first-time home buyers, right? And yeah, in young families starting out in the housing market. So that's great news. I think they're going to assist cities to give incentives as well. So this is the kind of thing we were looking for. What can they do to help us make it easier to build, or to incentivize developers to build, or young families to purchase their first homes? And I think there are some measures in this throne speech that speak to that. So that was very good news. And, you know, also news about reconciliation. And what else would I read about? They covered a gamut of issues, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
specifics to be introduced, right? This was just broadly here.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one was childcare. That they're busy drafting agreements with the provinces on childcare. So that was all very good news. I mean, I think it was a very good throne speech. I thought it was incredible that our Mary Simon, our new Governor General, could speak in English, French, and Inuktuk, right?
True.
I think it was the first time a throne speech had been read in 3 languages.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you at the announcement today with Minister Lecce?
No, I had budget meetings today, right?
Oh, were you? Okay. So he announced
today, and again next Monday. With any luck, we might be done our budget next Monday, and tomorrow we're in a council meeting.
Okay, I'll talk about the budget in a sec, but Minister Lecce announced $600 million to build new schools and childcares. Yeah.
Facilities. Well, that's great. How many of them will be in Mississauga?
Oh no, this was, I don't know, to be honest. It's at 600 million. Yeah, you're right. I don't think all 600 million is going to Mississauga, but if it did, that'd be great.
Calling him and saying thank you, but
yeah.
wait and see what portion of that we receive. But that's always good news, right? And they particularly need it for air filtration systems in all the schools as well. I don't know if any of the money will go to HVAC and air filtration, but that's very important for the students right now with COVID, right?
True. And let's talk about the budget meeting that you guys are going through. What are some high-level line items that you guys are talking about that the Mississauga viewers might want to know?
So, not a lot of new initiatives because, of course, we're looking at operational deficits again this year, and we're looking for safe restart funding because we won't be able to balance our budget, notwithstanding, we do have union contract liabilities, right? So, and responsibilities. So, those increase approximately 2% a year. And so we're responsible for those. And there are not significant budget increases for any measure, any area, quite frankly, because we've been trying to be very responsible. And I think that people will be pleased. It's not defined yet what it will be, but, it will be in the neighborhood. When we combine it, I think we're looking at like 1.5 from the city and 1.7 from the region.
Okay.
But combined, it'll be under 3%. So, we're trying to keep it as responsible as possible, but we will continue to be, notwithstanding the measures we have in place, which are, hiring freezes and no new measures, frankly, in deficit position, unless the provincial or federal government continue to give us the safe restart funding, which we're very hopeful they will. Because I think I've mentioned this to you before, any city that runs a large transit system will continue to be in operational deficit because you're just not making the money in the fare box. We're running at 60% ridership, and I think Toronto, the numbers are even lower than that. So we just can't. The money's not there for us. The revenue stream is not there for us. Very responsible, not introduce a lot of measures, but at the same time, let's not forget we're building a world-class city, and we do have commitments with respect to things like our LRT and the developments on the waterfront. And we do want to continue to build. We've got commitments to redevelop some of our community centers, etc. So those will proceed. But a lot of new initiatives, not really, right? Because we're still coming out of COVID, and we want to get into that recovery phase, and things are opening up and things are much better, but we're not out of the woods yet.
Property tax going up?
Well, yes, as I mentioned, it'll be in excess of 2%, but not because of the region and the city, but we're going to be as vigilant as we can to keep it as low as possible. But at the same time, there are some commitments we have to honor to keep building, right? With the commitments we have for, whether it's the LRT or the community centers or the union contracts that we have, even the central library, think about that. There are things that need to proceed.
True. Oh, do you know when that library is going to be done? It's looking pretty good.
Isn't it? I can't wait. I don't know the date, but we'll find out for you.
Yeah. I can't wait to visit the balcony once it's done. That top balcony.
Yes, right? I know.
What's it? Are you guys going to have a name for that balcony? Okay, I'm just throwing it out. Okay, sorry. This is
I don't want to throw anything out there. Hazel's Perch? I don't know. It's the Hazel McCallion Central Library. So I don't know. I haven't thought about that, but that's, we did name the lookout at the Lighthouse Bees Lookout for bees, right? So I don't know. We'll see. You sometimes come up with these things that nobody's thought about yet.
Yeah, just like the Ferris wheel. I'll stop there. Any word, this is another viewer's question, any word on the City Center LRT loop? Have you made any there?
God bless whoever asked that. Can they also call the Premier and ask him? So there has been no change yet, but we're hopeful. There isn't an election next year, right? And that's usually the time to extract all kinds of promises during the election. So that's what I'm thinking. I haven't heard anything yet. No, right now it's going north-south on Hurontario, and we're very pleased and we're delighted, and it's great news for our city. But we did want the downtown loop, and the number of new buildings that are coming in, new towers that are coming in, 25 in the next 5 years and 35 or 30 years after that, almost one a year after that. That's just the OMERS and the Oxford development north of Square One.
Yeah.
Other properties that haven't been, there's been nothing has come to our planning department yet, but it will. So we have a lot of building going on in the downtown. So we were counting on that, the LRT looping around the downtown, yes.
Okay. So bug the premier before election time. Okay. Good strategy. Okay. And then one more COVID question here. 15% of My Way operators have not disclosed their vaccination status. Will the city consider suspending them or termination of the staff at this point?
So, that's a really good question. And so what we do know is the general population of our employees is over 90% vaccinated. That's everybody, including part-timers and ATU. So our vaccination rates exceed the provincial rates with our city employees. If you look exclusively at ATU, it was disclosed today, it's 85%. So there is 15% that either haven't disclosed or aren't vaccinated. And the policy. The policy is that they have to do the education session and they have to show negative tests to come to work. It has not caused us yet. It hasn't been problematic yet with respect to service levels, but it shouldn't be. We have a plan in place that we've given consideration to, should that be a problem, should it be a problem going forward. But certainly eventually if they do have to show negative tests to come to work or go home, there won't be a lot of tolerance for how much time can these people take off because they refuse to bring forward a negative COVID test. That could, let me say could, lead to termination.
Okay. And let's talk about something positive, because I saw your Instagram post and you were at the tree lighting, which was amazing, with people.
Oh my
at
God.
the tree lighting. How did that feel?
It felt like New Year's Eve. It was such a great event. The tree is spectacular, but then there's the prismatic. You saw those spinning.
I did see them. I know. I saw your stories. Yeah.
Oh, they were so much fun. I was running through them with some kids, and of course we had skating. Well, it wasn't cold enough, so we had rollerblading.
Oh, really? Okay.
Rollerblading on the rink surface, and food trucks, and there was just so many activities. And most importantly, we had the Mississauga Symphony Orchestra. It was their first event as well. And we had them piped in live, and they did music, they did O Canada, and they did some songs for us. And then we hit the button and lit up the square and lit up the tree. It was a spectacular event. And it was really great to be outdoors with so many people again. They had to be vaccinated. And many people wore their masks, even outdoors, right? Because there were so many people wore masks, as they should when there's too many people. But it felt so good to be out in the square and out at events and activities again. And we, as you know, we do have some plans, largely because you and I were pushing it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
For New Year's Eve, right? There'll be skating party with a DJ and music and food trucks and lots of activities on the square. And then fireworks.
Yes.
Fireworks for midnight.
Awesome.
Very
Cool.
good.
Is there a live band or an artist coming?
Disc jockey. We weren't able to book any talent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. So there's a disc jockey playing at the rink.
Okay.
Right throughout.
Everybody will be there for the fireworks, anyways.
Exactly.
And yourself, of course. So, and oh yeah, so that's all I have. Did you see the tweet that went out with Simu Liu? And
I saw his monologue. I saw some of it. I didn't see all of it, but I saw some of it. Did you see the Saturday Night Live?
I saw a bit of it, but he put out a tweet today
He was very, very self-deprecating, talked about his hometown. It was awesome.
Oh, he's pushing Mississauga hard. So if you think about it, so my Trey, right, from Never Have I Ever, the Netflix show, she's also from Mississauga, and Simu Liu tweeted her saying, "You're from Meadowvale, I'm from Streetsville," right? And tweeted that out. Take a look at the tweet. It's pretty creative.
I was just thrilled to watch him on SNL on Saturday. That was great.
Yeah, Mississauga's on the map on the global Hollywood stage. So anyways. Yeah, that's all I have. You can
That's
have your
great.
4 minutes back, and have yourself a good
Yeah.
evening.
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you send your folks to my presser. Okay, take care.
Okay, later. Bye.
Bye.